I like that you stretch your neck before you do this, like it's strenuous.
Listen, I just got to give you time to say something snarky off the top.
Fair enough.
The way it works. Okay. Hello and welcome to Deep Cuts the Game, a movie trivia podcast where I give my three guests three different movies, and they try to give me the most random, obscure, or minor actors from those films. The deeper the cut, the more points they get. I'm your host, Jeff Penn, and with me as always, Alex Young. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Hello. That was the voice that
I was not doing that.
It was. Listen to it back when we're done, and it was like such an affectation.
And listen, I listened to the show last week where you made fun of me for like taking so long to describe something, and it really wasn't.
I don't know. Everybody back me up on that. So I feel like I'm right.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I know last week that I mentioned that I went to Montreal and I used that entire window just to complain about being in Montreal. Because I did not have a great experience at the hotel.
And you don't like the French.
I don't like the French. I'm just super French racist, but exclusively just to that. But now that that's out of the way, I can talk about the good stuff. So I went for Fantasia, saw a bunch of stuff, met Mike Flanagan. We're best friends now. No big deal. We're not at all. I'm sure he does not know I exist. He will not be on this show. I saw a few things. Shelby Oaks, which was really good. Check it out. But I also saw, and it just won their award, The Count of Monte Cristo, which was really good. And the thing I like the most about Fantasia, and one of our guests will probably relate to this a lot, is the audience. Because it's very similar to the TIFF Midnight Madness audience, where like everyone's on board. They're very quiet and respectful for the most part in the audience. But when there's like a big kill on screen or like a really good scare, everyone applauds or cheers or whatever. And it's like very much like almost like a Rocky Horror Drive-In vibe. But then after the cheers, it's dead silence back to respectful movie time, which is the best. But what was unique about seeing The Count of Monte Cristo, which is a direct adaptation of the book, it's not a modernization, it's not like an action movie, it is a 3-hour historical drama that is French, and it's the most expensive movie of the year to come out of France, and it played out a competition at Cannes. I don't know why it was at Fantasia, but I'm glad that it was. But it was such an interesting experience because we had the cheers and the applause, but it was for completely different reasons. So at one point, someone's like, I am actually your bastard son, and it's all a big surprise. And someone else like, oh no, I'm ruined. What a scandal. I must resign in disgrace. And everyone's like, yeah, get out of here. And then it goes back to silence. It was awesome. So everybody should check that out when it comes out. It was a surprisingly great movie. Your audience will be different than mine, but it's still a good time. And I feel like that's everything I wanted to cover for Fantasia, was really just that.
The only thing I can think of is when you mentioned the film festival, is it reminds me of when I was 18 and there was no internet and I didn't really know anything about anything.
Was
and
there
I
even
remember
electricity back then, Jeff?
There was, but it was like hand cranked.
Okay.
So I went, I think when I was going to Centennial College, and I went for like my interview, and the teacher asked me if I knew what in the can meant. And I was like, do you mean like the film festival? And he's like, no, like when the project's done and it's in the can. I was like, oh yeah, that. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But that was 1994 and I was a child. And, he was lucky I knew there was a film festival that had a similar sounding name.
Listen, when I started at the place of business we both worked at for a while, my very first day, you and a couple other people were like, blah, 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 just do this with time code. And I'm like, cool, got it. And sat down and I'm like, what the fuck is time code? And at that point, I had done 3 years at Centennial College, and we never really got into time code. Seems like that should have been maybe day 2. So that was a bit of like a learning on my feet. I'm like, everything's by 50s. This is nonsense.
Well, we have a fun show because we have 2 people that have never been on the show before. It's been a long time since we've had newbies to the show.
Newbies?
Yeah, newbies. So we'll use the word newbies. We have a person who, from what you tell me, plays along all the time at home and even gets mad sometimes.
I'd argue she's our biggest fan.
Yeah. She gets mad when I spoil things on social media, as well as I believe what you mentioned to me.
Yes.
But I'm like, I have to post something. So otherwise, for the 9 people that follow me, I have to post something. And then we also have a person who I've known, I guess, for like 35 years, but I have not seen him in 30 years. So it's a weird kind of relationship there. So I'm going to invite him into the show first. His name is Paul. Paul is a writer and editor based in Toronto who writes and has written about film for a variety of publications and film festivals. He regularly contributes liner notes and audio commentaries to Blu-ray releases. You can find Paul on Twitter at Paul Corupe, Corupe, or at his website, canucksploitation.com. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Thanks. You even remembered how to pronounce my name correctly after 35 years. That's super impressive.
What else do you get other than Corupe? Do people give you
Oh,
Corupe?
man,
Or
Corupe. Yeah, people think I'm in Spanish or something.
I
Corupe,
think
Corupe, and I get all kinds of stuff. It's
I
crazy.
think I remember that from high school.
Yeah.
Probably the first time I looked in a yearbook, I was like, "Who's Paul Corupe?"
Exactly.
Yeah. But thanks for coming on the show, being a first-time player.
Glad to be here.
I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but this is the mid-season finale of Deep Cuts the Game. We're going to take a little hiatus for August because it's hot. And I don't know. I just want to enjoy the summer for a couple weeks. But we have a second guest, Alex. You've invited someone who you've talked up greatly in this game as though they might be the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, I feel like she'll give Craig a run. I feel like this is Lady Craig Smeaton.
I wasn't even going to mention Craig because I feel like Craig gets way too much press on our show.
I knew it was going to happen, and it's the mid-season finale. We got to bring on, it's like sweeps week. We got to mention all the greats.
And maybe they'll come back and have a head-to-head, if she really shows us what she's got today. So
no pressure.
Let me read her little intro. Welcome to the show, Sandra Biles. Sandra. I know.
We went over this a dozen times.
Sandra is an account transfers administrator at a wealth management company, which is a real fancy way to say she works in an office downtown depositing checks. She's a massive movie fan, and some of her favorites include Jaws, Singing in the Rain, Dirty Dancing, Little Shop of Horrors, and in the entire Fast and the Furious franchise. Get the fuck off my show. Holy shit.
I stand by it.
She also enjoys listening to podcasts, playing trivia games, and pretty much anything in the realm of pop culture. She has a real knack for figuring out that movie you can't quite remember from the minimal clues you can provide, and has a deep love for character actors no one ever remembers. Well, this is the show for her. You can find Sandra online at Cinephile Sandra on Twitter and Instagram, or you can follow her on Letterboxd at just her name, Sandra Biles.
Hello.
Sandra, welcome to the show. That was almost as long of an intro as the first one Craig gave us.
I know. I felt like I had to live up to, since I've been hyped so much.
Yes. Well, thank you for coming on the show. We're excited to have both of you here. Is there any questions, since you're first-time players, is there any questions you have before we get into it?
No, I'm good. I've been,
No?
like
Okay,
I said,
good.
I've been
Warm
listening
side.
since the beginning, so
All right.
I think I get it.
Okay, great.
And I would like to point out, Jeff, if you remember correctly, I was miscredited a win with Hillary because of the Rich Sommer issue. This is the Sandra
that corrected you?
That issue, that mistake. This is she. And I feel like she caught another mistake. Isn't that right? Did you mention there was another thing?
Yeah, it's not point. It's just me being pedantic. In How to Train Your Dragon, David Tennant and Ashley Jensen are not the voice of the dragons. They're villagers. They're just other people in the village. Yeah.
All right.
But
I just saw their names and was
amateur hour.
Their names, the names of the villagers sound like dragon names. I think his name is Spikelout or something insane. So I get it.
Yeah, which sounds like a dragon.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Sorry, thank you. You understand I get paid $0 for doing the show,
Oh.
so I put in that much effort into my background checking.
All I do is listen to stuff like this and feel the need to let everyone know the stuff they got wrong, which is why Alex will regularly get texts from me on Monday saying, I'm listening. Here's everything you said wrong.
Well, I think we could get you a part-time job working here for free if you want to double check my
the
notes.
pay is garbage and there are no perks.
Yes. So the way we're starting off today is I've thought of a movie, and I'm going to ask you three to try to figure out what movie I'm thinking of. The person who comes the closest will get to decide if they go first, second, or third. Sandra, what movie am I thinking of?
I'm going to go with Without Limits in honor of the Olympics.
I mean, it's a good thought. You're thinking about things that are happening in the world, and I might think of that. I did not. So, Paul, what movie am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I'm not thinking of that, but I did just see the trailer for the Bob Dylan movie with Timothy Chalamet, and I turned to my son and I was like, I think teen girls are going to get really into Bob Dylan in the next couple months and go, I don't really like this. I don't like it a whole lot. But that is not correct, but good thought. Alex, what movie am I thinking of?
Are you thinking of the 1997 Canadian classic Cube?
I'm not. And wow, this is maybe one of the times where like you're all so far off that I may have to go to you guys to help me decide who was the closest. Because the movie I was thinking of, because it is so goddamn hot out today, is Some Like It Hot.
Wow.
I mean, it was either that, I was going to do Heat, or maybe Fahrenheit 451. But I don't know. You and I just.
Some Like It Hot's a great movie.
You really liked it. I got about 12 minutes into it, and I just couldn't.
Oh,
do it.
dude, it's Billy Wilder, that whole cast. That movie's great.
I don't know. Sure, I'll give it another try. But okay, so
who's the closest in era?
What year's
one came out the oldest?
When did Without Limits come out?
97 or 98.
Okay.
Oh, for some reason, in my head it was like much older.
No, I think
I'm gonna say, because she gave me a reason that it was an Olympic themed, she was at least I don't know. None of these are great, guys. So Sandra, I'm just gonna give it to you. Would you like to go first, second, or third?
Oh Lord. I'll go second.
The safe spot.
Yeah.
All right, Paul, I'm giving it to you to come in second here. Because I feel like, chocolate, it's melty. I don't know. It's definitely not. Alex, what? It's not Cube. I'll tell you that. It's not the science fiction.
I was going to make an argument because I'm like, one of the cubes is really hot when they're crawling through, but I'm not that invested.
Who was in Cube?
In this part?
Was anyone in it?
The two guys who did nothing, and he was also in.
Was it the guy who was in like Treed Murray? Am I thinking of the right guy?
Maybe the lead is also in Stargate Atlantis.
Yeah, I think he's the guy.
Anyone.
I think he's from Treed Murray. He's the guy up the tree in Treed
Seems
Murray.
Right.
If you like,
he's
Canadian
in stuff. He pops up periodically.
Yeah. Paul, first or third? Where would you like to go?
I think I might be at a disadvantage here, so I might go first.
Okay, good call. I mean, get those deep cuts in early. And Alex, you get your favorite spot.
Thank God. Like, I don't want to. We're going on a mid-season hiatus here. I don't want to go out on a low note. I will anyway. I'm not going to win, but at least I can have a firm starting position.
Okay.
Like the Olympics.
So I have 3 movies for you. And I'll tell you before we get started, as far as I can tell, because, hey, like we've discussed, sometimes I make mistakes. We have 2 crossovers. There's only 2 crossovers. People who appear in more than one film. If you give me that person, you'll get the points for both movies they appear in. The first movie, one of my favorites from 1997, Boogie Nights. Also a favorite of mine from 1992, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Sandra's going to crush this shit.
Well, and now I'm worried because I'm looking at Sandra. The third film is from 1996, and it's a little film called Scream. And she's literally wearing a Scream t-shirt. And I was like, I do not have time to replace this movie. So
I clearly manifested this.
So would everybody like to just call it a night? Yeah. Sandra's going to win it, and we could just like have 48 minutes back?
So yeah, so those are the 3 movies. Scream, Boogie Nights, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Oof. So Paul, I'll give you guys a minute or two. This is not live. I can edit.
Let me ask one question here. If I'm gonna pick somebody who is it's just points for obscurity. It isn't points for like obscurity, but is also in a whole lot of other things.
Both, I think.
It's a bit of both.
Okay.
Like trying to think of a movie. Like we always use the reference is Back to the Future 2. Elijah Wood is in Back to the Future 2. Yeah. He's a huge actor, but it's such a minor role that most people forgot. You're getting the points based on that. If you can somehow remember that, like Craig did Back to the Future, and he remembered the girl who's on the dance floor, who's like, who's that guy? She's worth 20 because A, she's nobody, and B, it's such a minor role. So there's a bit of both. Big actors before they were big actors can still score you a lot of points if you didn't really know they were in that film.
I'd like to point out Sandra has not stopped writing.
Yeah.
So no. I'm super concerned. I've written down like 3 names, and I'm like, I hope that's enough. And I look over here, and she's got a 500-word essay going.
I do apologize.
And remember, you don't have to make them all super obscure. Sometimes you can just hit middle of the pack, so I don't have to look on IMDb every time. But these are good ones. These are good ones. These are ones that I think even if I hadn't done the list myself, I think I could do reasonably well. But even like I look at someone like, oh, I totally didn't know that person. Wow, they are still scribbling, Alex. Both of them are scribbling. Paul might just be doing doodles of things, but
it's just a big just intimidation, really, not really.
So, Alex, I asked the question on Twitter, and I put up a poll, which I don't usually do because you get like 3 responses, and you just feel bad about yourself. So this one I got 1, and my question was, because it's so hot, is to people who own pools and say things to you like, you should come over for a swim sometime, but then never invite you over for a swim. Like, are they just doing it to like rub it in your face?
Yes.
Yeah. Like
100%.
Like, don't say that to people. Oh, you should come over for a swim sometime. And then all summer long, I'm just waiting for the invite to happen. And it doesn't.
And also, you know what? No offense to anybody with pools. I don't want it. I don't want to come over. I don't want to sit by your pool or be in it. I'm okay. That's nice of you to ask, but I'm going to pass.
I like when people say, I'm going away this week. Feel free to use my pool. That's the kind of invite.
Is that a thing that happens? Where
do
you live?
It's happened before. It's happened before. Once.
That's
okay.
Weird.
I think our 2 other players are ready to go, Alex. Paul, who's your first deep cut?
Oh boy. Okay. I have a bunch here. I have a couple here, but I'm not sure who's going to score me the most points, I guess. So I'm going to go with what I think is probably the safest answer. Is Thomas Jane.
Very nice. And guess what, Paul? He's a double deep cut.
Get out of here.
Because he's got that small role in Boogie Nights as one of the former porn stars, which is worth 12 points for that. And then he's also got a very small role in Buffy the Vampire Slayer as the boss of some other people, and he works at the auto body shop or the mechanics. So he's a double 12 points. So he is 24 points for Thomas Jane.
That is a great start.
Yep. Listen,
I did not even know he was in Buffy. So
you could score 0 the rest of the game and still not have the lowest score of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So you're off to a good start.
That's good news.
Sandra, what do you got?
Okay. Gonna go with Scream. And I'm gonna go with the actual voice of Ghostface, Roger Jackson.
Yes, Roger Jackson. Who I think he does the voice of the Scream in all the films. Yep. I think he was even the most recent one. He's
still doing it.
He's in that. So he is 14 points for Roger Jackson. Ooh, good start, Alex. We got 2 very serious players here today.
Yeah, I know, and I'm like already embarrassed for all of my guesses. Okay, so I'm gonna do 2 from Scream. 1 isn't very deep. The principal is Henry Winkler.
He is, and it's weird. He's uncredited for some reason in that
film. I know, that's so strange because he's in it a lot.
Yeah, and like he's murdered, and so he is worth 12 points. Mostly because he is uncredited. But if you've seen that movie, you totally remember that. What is your second deep cut, Alex?
My second deep cut is Gale Weathers' cameraman is an actor.
Yes, he is.
In my head, he played a vampire in something, but I want to say his name is Kenny.
The cameraman's name is
Brown.
Okay, I'm gonna give it to you because the cameraman's name is Kenny.
Okay.
His last name in real life is Brown. It's W. Earl Brown. He's from
Earl Brown, not Kenny Brown.
He is from There's Something About Mary. He is Mary's brother, who Pork and Beans. He's in Deadwood. He's in Preacher, and I think he was in the first season of True Detective, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what? I think I'm thinking of him in Deadwood.
Yeah, he's
that's like my
he's in like most of the episodes. Mm-hmm. So W. Earl Brown for 14 points.
Oh my God, I did okay, and the rest are going to be 3s.
That's solid. It's solid. Sandra, what is your second deep cut?
Okay, I'm going to go with Buffy, and I'm going to say Alexis Arquette as the DJ at their homecoming dance.
Yes, the vampire DJ, Alexis Arquette, also mostly known for their role in The Wedding Singer as the other singer for Adam Sandler's band. Alexis Arquette, that's 18 points because I think once again they are uncredited.
Damn, Sandra.
But it's one of those things where if there's one Arquette in a movie, there's probably 2 or 3 in the movie, so it's kind of safe.
Are there other Arquettes in Buffy?
Oh, sweet summer child.
Jesus, come on.
I saw it one time. Sandra, we've discussed this. I saw it one time and thought it was only fine.
You were wrong.
And you all got really mad at
That's
me.
because you're wrong.
See?
Paul, you get your second and your third deep cut guesses.
Oh, 2 in a
right
row?
now. 2 in a row. You get to double up.
Okay. Well, they're both going to be from Boogie Nights because it's the only one that I have a good knowledge of. I think of these 3, I'm going to pick one of my absolute favorite character actors of all time, Ricky Jay.
Wow.
Magician Ricky
Wow.
Jay.
Ricky Jay, who is the cameraman, I believe, for all the Boogie Nights filming. 15 points for Ricky Jay. What would you say you know him from, Paul? Like, what is your Ricky Jay?
He was known in the 70s as a magician, and he actually works in movies. There's a great documentary about him where he talks. He's a consultant for films. People will come to him about, how do I do this? I think The Prestige was obviously one that he appears in that too.
Yeah, that's right.
But he was like the consultant on how do I do all these tricks, and he was supposed to be in Knives Out, but he died right before that. He's in a bunch of David Mamet films.
I was going to say
House of Games.
The thing that I was like, oh, he is the narrator in Magnolia that tells all the little stories off the top, and then he does appear in the film.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the narrator. That's like in 1843. There was 4 men that lived in this town, but that's him. So yeah, wow, that's a good cut.
I have just learned more in the last 60 seconds than I have in the last 15 episodes of this show. Can we get Paul in like every other week just so I can do some school?
Listen, I'm still going to lose badly to Sandra. So
I think
I don't know about that.
No.
That was deep as hell, man.
We let him do a little pop-up video after our episodes where he comes in and gives you like little background information. He's like, actually, Jeff's wrong. That guy was a magician in the 70s.
Does he get bonus points for like having a little lecture on each one of his guests?
I will say this: if there's a tie at the end, the tie is going to Paul for knowing that fact.
Fair enough.
That's good. Paul, what is your third deep cut?
Oh, right. I got another one. Okay, I'm gonna pick also from that same film, Boogie Nights, Philip Baker Hall.
Yes, as one of the other porn bosses.
One of the other sleazeballs.
One of the other sleazeballs. I believe he has a problem with. Is he the one that has a problem with younger people? Someone in Boogie Nights gets arrested at the end.
Oh, right. Yes. I think that might be him, yes.
It's either Philip Baker Hall. Actually, it might be another person. I'm not going to say it. But Philip Baker Hall, 10 points.
Oh, good.
10 points. That's it. So, hey, man, it's double digits. And I think we've decided if you can double digit your way through the game, you're going to be okay.
And now this is the part where Paul jumps in and he's like, and actually, Philip Baker Hall is
no.
professor at the University of Cincinnati. And you're like, wow, that's crazy.
No, first one's free. The rest are...
Fair enough.
Sandra, what do you have up your sleeve?
Okay, I'm going to go back to Scream, and I'm going to say Liev Schreiber, who has a very small, no-speaking part just on TV when they're showing the court case.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, Liev Schreiber for 15 points, because, yeah, he is really not in the film other than in, like, kind of, like, stock
What's
footage.
his character name? I feel like it's got
Cotton
snow
Weary.
in it. Cotton Weary, that's the one.
And, not to spoil Scream 2 for anyone, but when he dies in Scream 3. When he dies, I'm so upset. Like, he's kind of my favorite character by that point, and then he dies, and I'm like, oh, no, not Cotton Weary. And I just like that guy. He seems like a good guy. Alex, you have your third deep cut. I know, it's totally off subject, but...
Your facts, Jeff, are way less interesting than Paul's. Sorry.
Alex, what's your third deep cut? And then I'll give you guys a rundown of the points.
Okay, so I'm not going to strike that deep in Boogie Nights, but I'll go with Don Cheadle. I feel like he has a little bit less screen time than some of the others.
He does. He's still worth 6 points because...
Yeah, I expected.
He's Don Cheadle. He's opening up his own audio video store, I believe. He's going to sell some speakers. So 6 points, Alex, brings you to 32 at the halfway point. Sandra, you're at 47. Paul, you're at 49.
Oh my God. It's anyone's game except for me.
Yeah. Alex, what is your fourth deep cut?
Buffy.
Ooh.
This guess is going to be posed as a question like Jeopardy. Is Rutger Hauer in that movie?
Yeah, he's like the main vampire, you dumbass.
He's like the villain.
He doesn't just like show up at the end?
No, he's in the whole thing.
He's like, yeah, it's like, I almost feel like he should be worth 2 points, but I gave him 4 because he's kind of a lesser known person.
I misremembered it. It's like, third act appearance. He's the villain.
No,
me.
He's in all her dreams, and he's always coming to her and trying to like sway her to that side. So
I've seen it one time. And then we did a script read for Sandra's birthday. Like, that doesn't help me with the cast.
Well, 4 points for Rutger
Great.
Hauer. Like that guy, too. He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Sandra, what is your 4th deep cut?
Okay. I'm going to go with, and I think I'm remembering this correctly, on the opposing basketball team, Ben Affleck is one of the basketball players.
Yes, he is. That's a solid cut. Ben Affleck for 15 points.
Sandra, I had that on my list too, but I couldn't be certain that I wasn't thinking of Teen Wolf.
I just need to clarify, you were pretty sure about Ben Affleck, but not Rutger Hauer.
I was more confident about Rutger Hauer.
But you thought he was only
As
in
I
it
should have been.
for a little bit.
What was that, Jeff?
You thought he was only in the movie for a little bit, though.
Yeah.
Okay. But somehow you remembered Ben Affleck handing a basketball to a vampire.
Yes, because that scene is very famous. You're like, oh my God, it's Ben Affleck, and
Affleck.
he's uncredited. But I genuinely thought, I was like 60-40 that it was Teen Wolf.
Because that would be right before like Dazed and Confused, and like I think he's in like School Ties and some other things that he does. So that's a solid. No, not Mallrats. Paul, you have your 4th and your 5th deep cuts.
Oh man!
Just reminding you that we play 6 rounds, so you're in the home stretch here.
All right, I'm starting to get thin on my list here, but I'm gonna try one. I don't know point wise what this does, but I'm gonna say Veronica Hart.
Veronica Hart,
who is
you're gonna have
who is in a lot of movies, but maybe not a lot of movies that are featured on this show.
Okay. I wrote down some of those people from Boogie Nights, ones that I felt people would know more.
I don't know if
by name.
I don't know if that flies here, but
it does. It totally does. If they're in that movie, let's pause for a second and just let me confirm, because I did not write down Veronica Hart.
Gonna assume he's right.
Let me just
because there is a deep catalog of
there's 2
supporting. Do we think her name is spelled like
H-A-R-T?
H-A-R-T. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Boy, you had that ready to go, Paul.
Well, I got my list.
Geez. Okay. So H-A-R-T. I don't know. The problem is there's quite a few Veronica Harts. We may have to circle back.
Okay. I can do another one.
Can you start listing other movies she's in?
I no, because I have not seen those movies, clearly. So,
yeah, me neither.
Okay, Paul, give me your 5th deep cut. We're going to put Veronica Hart down.
Okay.
She may be worth a bunch of points, or she may be worth nothing if she's not in it.
Okay.
What is your 5th deep cut?
My 5th deep cut is along the same line. Oh my God. No, wait. Screwed up the name. Maybe I'm screwing up the name. Okay, I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to go with William H. Macy.
William H. Macy
in Boogie Nights.
Yeah, and I'm worried you may have confused Veronica Hart with William H. Macy's spouse.
With William H. Macy.
I didn't confuse those.
They are commonly conflated.
No, it's just that the woman's name is similar.
That's what I realized halfway through saying the other one.
So William H. Macy is worth 6 points.
Okay.
As he shoots his wife on New Year's Eve, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Spoilers. In a great one shot.
Yeah, it's great. Sandra, what is your 5th deep cut?
Okay. I'm gonna go with from Buffy, Natasha Gregson Wagner.
Whoa. Yeah. She is one of she is. It's just I didn't know her name. Is she one of Buffy's friends, or is she
She's not. She's like the smart girl in their group.
Okay. I didn't really know who she was. I did write her down only because she is the daughter of Natalie Wood.
Yeah, and Robert. Robert Wagner's like her adopted
Robert Wagner's stepdad. Yeah. is her stepdad. So Natasha Gregson Wagner for 16 points, because who the heck is Natasha Gregson Wagner? She was in High Fidelity, The Lost
Yeah.
Highway,
Urban
and
legend.
mostly known as being Natalie Wood's daughter. So yeah, 16 points for that. That's a solid, very solid cut this late in the game. Alex, you have your last two cuts.
Oh, prepare to be equally as impressed, Jeff. So from Boogie Nights, I'm going to take recent birthday boy, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Ooh, you're just scraping that barrel, eh, Alex?
So deep.
William H. Macy, sorry.
Nope, Philip Seymour Hoffman. We already did William H. Macy.
Yes, sorry. It's all those guys with 3 names.
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman for 6 points.
Yeah,
same as William H. Macy, yes.
And now, because I'm unsure in Buffy, maybe he's in it less than I remember. Maybe I got him confused. Paul Rubens.
Paul Rubens is in it less than Rutger Hauer, but
Great.
not much. Like, he's still kind of...
Listen, it's Paul Rubens or the Star.
Okay.
So this is what I've decided.
He's worth 5 points, Alex. He's worth 1 more than Rutger Hauer.
I'll take it. No,
it's
Rutger Hauer. Yes.
He is kind of the right-hand man, ironically losing his arm at some point in the film. So yeah, it's a solid cut, Alex. Sandra.
Thanks, Jeff.
You've got your last cut. You might ice the game here with a good cut.
Oof. Okay.
Don't say oof like you don't have so many names no one else has ever heard of.
No, you guys have heard of them. I'm just trying to decide where they might go. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one because he's technically uncredited, but I know he's in there. Seth Green plays a vampire in the background.
He does, yeah. The little crossover to the TV show Seth Green for 15 points as an uncredited vampire. Paul.
Damn.
It's kind of out of reach. Even if you got the double deep cut, it's not worth that much points. And then we'll circle back to your Veronica Hart. Unless you have thought of who that adult film star is and want to try to play her now.
I have a deeper cut that I think, but I can't quite recall, but I'm not sure I want to do it.
And again, we do accept like that guy from that thing.
Yeah. If you're not sure,
it's just that I'm not sure if he's actually in it, but I think he is. But it's pretty deep cut.
Hey, listen,
I'd have to do another speech. I have to do another lecture.
One, I'm here for the speeches. 2, risk it, because I think if not, like Sandra has us beat.
Yeah.
But if it might be worth the big swing.
All right. You ready? I'm still not sure about this, but I think it's the one he's in. Robert Downey Sr., not Jr.
Is in Boogie Nights. He's also in Magnolia.
Yeah.
But he is in Boogie Nights, and that's 20 points because I don't think he has any lines.
No, but he was friends with P.T. Anderson, I think, before.
So Robert Downey Sr. for 20 points, and I'm so upset that your Veronica Hart didn't pay off.
It was Nina Hartley. That's who
It was Nina Hartley was the woman that was William H.
It's another one too. There's a Veronica something. I can't remember.
So
I just mixed their names up.
Justin Hartley's mom.
She is not. Nina Hartley is an adult film star who is having sex with some guy on New Year's Eve, and William H. Macy goes out to his car and gets the gun and shoots them both.
Yeah.
Before I give you the final score, let's just see. Here, Alex, here's something interesting for you big jerk. The woman who plays Mark Wahlberg's mom is an actress named Joanna Gleason. Nothing interesting about her, except for she is currently married to Chris Sarandon. So she, who was previously
Jack Skellington?
Yeah, I guess so. Who was also married to Susan Sarandon. So that guy gets around.
Are they not related?
They were married, and she kept the name.
In my head, they are siblings.
I know, because they both have like dark curly hair, so I just assumed they were brother and sister too.
It's like a White Stripe situation.
Let's see here. The guy that I believe has trouble with younger people in Boogie Nights is an actor named Robert Ridgely, who plays the Colonel, and he's from Beverly Hills Cop 2 and Philadelphia. Sandra, I wonder if you would know this one. One of the younger future porn stars that they're trying to get into the business is an actor by the name of Tom Lenk.
Oh, yeah, from Buffy.
From Buffy,
yeah.
the series, as Andrew, one of the 3 nerdy guys that is always taken on Buffy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've only seen Boogie Nights like twice, so that I'm mad I didn't know
Oh,
that.
no, I didn't know it either until I saw his name, and I was like, wait, that guy? And then the other big one would be, well, Alfred Molina's got a nice little role in it. And then as the music producer in the studio is Michael Penn, who we've talked about before because my last name's Penn. And he's the brother of Sean and Chris Penn. Scream. You guys got Henry Winkler. Nobody got Wes Craven as the janitor.
Oh, yeah.
Linda Blair as one of the other reporters is a nice little pull, if you could remember that. And then the sheriff in Scream is also the sheriff from Nightmare on Elm Street. So a little Wes Craven callback there. And then Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Hilary Swank is one of the other friends, is a nice pull, but probably way too below Sandra's level there. She was only looking for heavy hitters. Stephen Root is the principal. Candy Clark is Buffy's mom from American Graffiti. You got Thomas Jane, you got Ben Affleck, you got Alexis Arquette, and you got Seth Green. The only other uncredited role there that would have been a good one would have been Ricky Lake has an uncredited role in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So we had a very high score game for Sandra and a very high score game for Paul, considering, I mean, if he got Nina Hartley, it doesn't win him the game, but it makes it damn close because she was worth like 14 points. Yeah. So, Alex, 47 points for you. Paul, 75.
Wow.
Sandra, 93. So if he said Nina Hartley instead of Veronica Hart, he's at like 89. So it would have been very close. Hell of a game, guys.
Who invited these people? Never again. This was a huge mistake. If we get Sandra and Craig on, I'm just going to mute my mic and like go play a video game.
I think like my two new co-hosts, like Paul could come in and add extra chatter and some info. Sandra and Craig could just like tally up high scores, and you could just...
I feel like Paul only has interesting facts. He's clearly nicer to you than I am. He's a way better choice. The role of Alex is going to be played by Paul after the mid-season finale.
Well, that was a good one. Yeah, so we're going to take for some. Hey, you scored 47, and like you've had worse games. You're not here because you're good at the game, Alex.
What?
So yeah, like I mentioned off the top, we're going to take August off. I know, Sam and Sandra will probably be disappointed as they are the people who listen the most to our game. And maybe Craig's wife listens a lot, but that's about it. But yeah, we're hoping to come back in September. We've got Alex and I are doing some appearances on other podcasts.
Yeah, so they'll slum it with us.
Yeah. But if you're at home and you're listening along and you have any ideas for like movies that you think would be really good to put on deep cuts, let me know and I'll try to get them into the game. Sandra, you got anything to promote? Anything you want to talk about before we sign off for the evening?
Oh my goodness. I have nothing. I do nothing. I will suggest checking out the Review Cinema, though. I know Alex mentions it every week. And specifically, they will be showing Buffy the Vampire Slayer in October. So, Alex, maybe go check it out again, finally.
But it's not that great.
Oh my God, I hate you so much.
I mean, it's not great, but it's not...
Incorrect.
Okay.
Sorry, it's great. End of sentence.
I think if I was a little bit younger, like what year did that movie come out? Well, I was 16, so I should have liked it more. I don't know. Maybe
it didn't really become a thing until a little bit later, right?
Yeah, it really didn't become a thing. Yeah, until the show kind of came out, and then you kind of went back to the movie.
Yeah,
right. So
it kind of came and went. What I remember.
It wasn't loved when it came out. I don't think.
Sandra, were you into it out of the gate, or was this something that you came to after the show as well?
I would have seen it before the show, and I liked it. And then I was really into the show, so I went back and got into the movie. But like,
yes,
I would have been. I think 8th grade, I got for like going to high school. My graduation from 8th grade gift was a TV VCR combo for my room and a copy of Buffy the Vampire Slayer on VHS. And that was like the first movie I owned that was mine and not the family's. And I was like, fuck yeah. And that's all I watched that summer.
It's funny the movies you remember like getting first.
Yeah.
Like, think mine might have been like Watership Down for some reason because I was
just love Watership Down.
I know. I like the book and I like the movie, and I remember a friend after college, and he didn't have a DVD player. So I bought him a DVD player for Christmas because, you could get one for like $80 or something like that. But so first I gave him a DVD just to kind of like spoil it. And he'd be like, oh, I don't have a DVD player. But so the movie I gave him was, what's that shitty comedy with like Steve Martin? Blue.
Oh, My Blue Heaven?
Shit. It might have been My Blue Heaven.
Rick
I gave him My Blue
Damn.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the one. I gave him My Blue Heaven. He's like, oh, thanks. I don't have a DVD player. And I was like, I know. And then I gave him the DVD player. But yeah, My Blue Heaven was the shittiest movie I could find to give him. So.
I think the first movie that was mine, like the VHS that I got for Christmas, was either The Lost World Jurassic Park, but that might have also been one for the family, or like the 2000 X-Men. I want to say it was X-Men. Because it also came with the t-shirt if you pre-ordered it at Blockbuster, and I wore the hell out of that t-shirt.
I mean, you were 11, so you could be forgiven for that.
Yeah, I was exclusively the target audience. Ask me how many action figures I got that year too, Jeff. It was awesome. I even had the little Statue of Liberty head that had rubber metal inside on a little slider, so like Magneto could bend it, and you could put your characters in it, it would bend back. It was awesome. There was a little cutout for Wolverine's claw so we could hang from it. I gotta find that. It's great.
Listen, I just bought Count Chocula cereal today at the grocery store, and it comes with a Count Chocula mask that you can cut out of the back of the box and wear the mask.
You know what's weird
So
about that?
my Halloween costume is ready to go.
Yeah.
I just bought cereal on clearance at Food Basics, which is Wednesday cereal? Like Jenna Ortega's Netflix show?
And what is Wednesday cereal? Like,
It's essentially Count Chocula, but they're like little coffins, I think, like Count Chocula, and then there's little ghost marshmallows in it.
yeah, I think they've just
It's
changed the
spooky
name.
goth cereal. I'm like kind of into it because it looks delicious. I bet it makes the milk really gross and weird.
My daughter said it tasted like hot chocolate. So, Paul, I know we talked about where people can find you online and your website, but do you want to refresh everyone's memory where they can track you down and maybe get more delightful information about movies and stuff?
Well, my website is Canucksploitation.com about Canadian film, and then I've been doing a lot of commentaries for Blu-rays. That's what I've mostly been doing the last couple of years. So I've got a few. If you like my website, yeah, it's the movies, but if you want to hear more, I guess stuff like that, it's really the commentaries you can go for. So the latest things I have out are Roadkill, Bruce McDonald's debut Canadian road movie. We did Jason, my friend Jason and I did the commentary for that, and I also wrote the liner notes for Vinegar Syndrome's China O'Brien release that came out a couple of months ago. And I've got a bunch. I think we've got 3 commentaries in the can right now that I can't reveal, but a bunch of more stuff coming out before the end of the year. So
awesome. All I have is this stupid podcast. So,
And even that's going on hiatus, so you got nothing.
Well, thanks, Paul and Sandra, for coming on the show. Alex, do you have an outro for me?
I have things to promote, Jeff.
Oh, okay, Alex. What do you have to promote?
Nah, I don't. I got nothing.
Yeah.
As Sandra said, go to the review, shop at your video store. That's all I got. Here is your outro, Jeff. I just wanted to be
all right. So just so
like
everyone
usual.
know, okay, I'm just going to read it without looking at it, even though he gave me some notes off the top. Okay. I'd like to thank our contestants, Sandra and Paul. Congratulations to this week's winner, Sandra. And of course, thanks to my co-host, Alex Young. Question for you, Alex. Deadpool and Wolverine just came out. Lots of cameos that I won't spoil, but were you in that movie? Did you have a brief cameo?
What? No, Jeff. I do not appear in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Are you sure? I swear I saw you in it.
Oh, you know what? You are thinking of Ryan Reynolds when he doesn't have the burn makeup on. That happens a lot. People often get us confused, but it's a really common mistake, so don't worry about it. You can just... Wasn't me. I appreciate it, but I do look a lot like Ryan Reynolds. Carry on.
Thanks for clearing that up, Alex. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and anywhere you get your podcast. Be sure to check us out and join us again in September. I'm Jeff Penn. Thanks for listening. Bye.